Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another amazing propaganda cast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. We're off here to a 1 vs 1 on the road to Kharkov with the new Elbe Day patch. And we'll be looking at some new commanders here. We've got the Lend-Lease commander over here under the command of Iamzwerr fighting for the Soviet Union. And the Guards 10th Tank Corps versus NoiseofCarpet fighting for Germany, for the Reich, for the 23rd Panzer Division, tasked with clearing out a Soviet tank corps, holding up positions in a small village recently captured.
New units have arrived.
Both players going for cut-off point, but noticing, rather interesting here, Iamzwerr is not going for the closest fuel point. In fact, he might be heading straight towards here to disrupt NoiseofCarpet's moves. Ultimate Grenadiers here, conscripts there for Iamzwerr. And knowing this new command, of course, I'll be setting up an addendum video on this, sort of more explaining what we've got. Heavy machine guns, an allied supply drop, M5 half-track assault groups, repair kits, and the Sherman, the M4C Sherman. The M-Chow, and there we go. Rapidly going in here for the cut-off point. Looks like he clearly had something in mind here, the bastard.
Engineers standing by.
So of course already here we'll have to see the NoiseofCarpet Pan was planning to sort of head towards the east as well. A bit risky, you know, to initially split up. Always you can sort of risk, in fact, the exact thing happening. And right here we are seeing Iamzwerr going in like a vodka drunk Bolshevik with the third squad on the way. So right here things will all be a bit thrown off tracks here for NoiseofCarpet. Iamzwerr clearly hoping to disrupt his opponent in his initial movements. There we go, comments going on fire, Grenadiers bringing them from several sides, firing away with their K-90Ks versus the Engineers more than their guns. Engineers and cons going to receive a slight buff at medium to long range. They don't still outdo Grenadiers, but on the other hand they can punish Grenadiers and stand out in the open a bit more. But right here, comments being pushed away, but the Grenadiers actually need to fall back into cover, into Deckung now.
Conscripts under attack!
So right here we do see already now the third player has a bit of an advantage in terms of territory. Fourth squad spot on the way. Point there secured. Conscript point maintain the cover. Heavy machine gun arriving there for NoiseofCarpet. Point secured. Poor Fritz went down there.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Careful over there, MU42. NoiseofCarpet, you're operating on a blind flank. We have no idea what might be happening. And there we go. He's actually... Again, that is the exact reason why I need to be careful about having MU42 around like that. You can easily brush past there. Instead, the Iamzwerr was actually a bit too slow this case around the extract here. A lot worse for the MG42. In this case, he got a bit lucky on spares, apparently having getting a few clumsy fingers there. More Grenadiers on the way. Molotov's upgraded here for Iamzwerr, who has so far actually not secured the fuel point at all. It's rather been around disruption, and afterwards a few attacks. And there go again going for the cut-off point. Well, of course, here that's NoiseofCarpet is like now going to try and sort of return the favour. Worried about the fuel point, but so far Iamzwerr has not been bothering with the fuel point whatsoever. So Iamzwerr clearly thinking in some other ways than his opponent. Fuel? I do not need fuel, comrade. I have socialism. Something like that I can imagine Iamzwerr saying. Quickly pulling up behind him with cover. Quick motor there into the ditch. Turning into a barbecue pit. If only there was something to barbecue. Anyway, Grenadiers bringing MG42 setting up. Rapid securing the point there as well. Mortar following up here for NoiseofCarpet. The map control sort of wise is currently looking a bit like patchwork. We do see that to this point he's still connected, but that's rather tenuous going straight in for the munitions. He's got of forcing NoiseofCarpet sort of run against, because NoiseofCarpet really hasn't set up any front line or any sort of stable positions. So instead he's sort of now forced to run across the map like a somewhat fat cat changing a rather agile mouse. And right here charging across on ground the conscripts are quickly able to punch out the Grenadiers to fall back. He could be very unlucky. That results in a full squad right there. There we go, MG42 not before the missing point has been wiped. Mortar there ready to fight, and we are seeing the Grenadiers moving up here like machine gun could prove beneficial now for suspend. Nope, we're actually seeing a minefield up here by the centre victory point. Not a bad idea. Could make moved a bit harder for the Soviets. And there go already Molotov and we lost Russian. Germans about to miss. Push in there, going for the fuel point. Extremely aggressive harassment going in here both sides. Mortar nuts it up. Could have been punishing these countries here. And looks like he did not move in there trying to take the point. That could have resulted in explosive goodness. And looks like he's going to go for the cut-off point again. He really should consider mining this point and setting a machine gun bunker rather than the sense of victory point. But there we go, Iamzwerr pushing in.
This piece of dirt is ours now. Orders.
And going for that cut-off point again. Due to the sort of other points being secured, it's not going to be fully worked on, but still, it's still going to be a bit of a pain in the arse. And there we go. Counter there coming in from the MD4 2 cannon need to fall back. But he's up here being held back by conscripts. 3 men can shoot out. There we go, Molotov. Will NoiseofCarpet pay attention to this act of incendiary vandalism towards this building? Well, temporarily claimed for the Wehrmacht. And there we go again, points can be cut off, so other points get cut off. So much cutting off going on at the moment. NoiseofCarpet clearly desperate and exasperated, and we also only have 5-6 conscripts on the way here. Clearly the tank corps is depleting one of its mechanized companies of infantry to throw at the fascists.
HMGs are ready to deploy.
Continuing that. And again, he's moving the MD42. He's got no clear idea of things because his infantry is all over the place. It's really creating a series of rather dangerous situations for him. He needs something to stabilize things. He either just needs to sort of, at the moment, give up some territory, or he needs to get something out because currently how things are working are not working well. You see some gunners actually getting some light machine guns that should actually add a bit of fun to him.
Losing supplies to the enemy.
Conscripts there versus gunners, and there we go. Quick Molotov. A frangible of doom. So right here we do see Iamzwerr sort of grabbing territory back. We also don't think a special rifle command is now up for Iamzwerr. I wonder what he could be planning with that. Panzergrenadier here running for NoiseofCarpet. The fight for the cut-off point continues.
Enemy contact! The point is ours. We have night detectors. Now
Manchu's up, and there we go. S-Man's going off, blowing off quite a bit of a chunk of the house, and Boris and Vasily. Right here, by the way, we give a spot for S-Mine field because you can actually see the mines very well there. So, just a little thought there, Kameraden. Then he's bringing up a light machine gun, home machine gun taking the nearby building. Again, he needs to set up some kind of defensive zone here. You also noting some minesweepers up here. So, looks like at this stage, Iamzwerr's perhaps expecting a few more mines than just that. But Panzer here, and it looks like his solution is to set a fuel cache, which also helps him sort of with the fuel losses suffered, but still interesting to note. Panzer moving Sturmgewehrs in hand. Further fighting up grenadiers and heavy machine gun. Again, needs to be careful of his MD42. NoiseofCarpet's machine gun movements are a bit risky, perhaps a bit too risky. Grenadiers need to fall back. Zurückfallen Männer. Panzer grenadiers need to move up, get a bit closer with their assault rifles. He's fighting with them at a not very effective range here. They're sort of medium to close, not far here, and he's gotten farther away than the Panzer gunners. Gunners need to... Ah, scheisse! That definitely not worked out well there for NoiseofCarpet. A tragic loss of German manpower. That's what's moving up, needs to get into cover though. Entdeckung. He probably could have advanced up through here instead of having a bit more cover as he closed in the other way. Conscripts were overwhelmed with superior German marksmanship. Meanwhile, the assault pushes up the right flank. Well, assault and assault, more of a movement of support weapons. And we've got a Dushka up here, in fact, taking up position inside this small farmhouse. And pointing in the wrong direction. Don't you think the fascists might come from the other way? Shut up, Boris. Bunker up there, although he's not got a lot to really heal at the moment. The losses have not been kind to him. I think he's, in fact, down to 1 grenadier squad, having had 3. That rather ought to give you an indicator of his losses compared to the Russians, who so far poured in a ton of infantry and not suffered quite nearly as massive squad losses. Mortar here needs to fall back. Or at least he had 2. I might have been counting things slightly wrong, actually. My apologies if that is the case, then to NoiseofCarpet. Don't want to inflate his losses and make him appear like a worse player when he isn't. More S-Mines field there. Alrighty then, trying to cover things up here a bit. And we're just seeing a massive movement of Soviet infantry. And again, the way NoiseofCarpet set things up, he's going to be rather vulnerable to such things there. Although it's never fun to see someone just basically holding things up. Although we do now see a Scout car out, a half-track could also have done well. They would have been a bit more expensive in fuel. Still would have helped the troops a bit more presence here. But these Pantagrueliers are not going to hold them back. I mean, these assault rifles are not that kind of Wunderwaffe. So good fun, Heinz. You've done what you can in service of Deutschland. Machine gun there. Oh, utterly wiped out there by the heavy machine gun there, the Jewish car. Proving its lethality. Scout car though quickly managed to flank up before it tears too heavily into it. Mortar rounds joining in as well. Point blank there with the MG. And there you go. Auto cannon upgrade up. The massive advantage in with minesweepers as well. Going again for the fuel points. Panzers need to reinforce. Pioneers moving up, and we're just knowing it that NoiseofCarpet currently has very few forces left compared to his opponent. And again, the higher durability of the conscript really sort of comes into play, and rather means the Germans need to get up some more higher things, or at least sort of tighten things up a bit. And currently again, the way NoiseofCarpet is playing is rather making to an extent Iamzwerr's tactics a lot more functional, and Stranu for that matter.
A sector has been cut off. Your orders, comrade.
Mortar needs to be careful. He's just seeing the conscripts roaring in one unyielding horde. Scout car here pushing through the fences. Gates out of the way. Oh dear, bit to mistake that. He might not expect his opponent to have anti-tank grenade, but we do see exactly that is what's happening. The scout car ends up taking an awful lot of damage and quickly goes down. Bit of a waste there, but good scout car, I think, without actually doing too much damage to his opponent. Panzer gun is pulled together. Noting an M5 half-track assault group is now available, filled with guards, troops there with submachine guns, and I believe a pair of rifles somewhere in there as well. I might be slightly wrong in that department. But right now, NoiseofCarpet is going to be a bit in a sticky situation. Pushing on again, he's got a very smaller force again, the Conqueror that Iamzwerr sort of been pushing in, and again the way he's been playing strong to advantage. But also now with a half-track assault group, things are going to get very ugly. And there you go, looks like this squad could be wiped out. No, no, oh! That was close. We're also noting here, Luftwaffe support has been chosen in support. Well, close air support anyways. Overall, the situation for NoiseofCarpet is looking rather desperate.
Are securing our territory.
And he's not recruit that MG42 either.
Stalin sent his dogs!
Standing by.
We are ready for action.
Definitely not looking better.
You need indirect fire?
We have liberated the objective.
Commended for our courage.
Got the mortar firing. Also looks like he has checked up, so he might be getting some kind of armor in the hopes that the high resources that Iamzwerr is putting into infantry and other things might give him a chance of getting an armor advantage. Not bad thinking. Not bad thinking. Cars moving up. They've not cleared all the mines yet.
Enemy is taking our territory.
And there we go. Assault group moving in. Infantry and mortar will be caught here. A Panther fast might be an idea. And there we go.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
And there we go. Submachine gun equipped guardsmen flying there from the half tracks. Terriers. Then it is need to consider falling back. Panther is also need to consider supporting here. Combi is being torn up. And it is. Ah, he might lose them this time right now. Ah! Got a bit lucky there. And there you go, some SPT-40 rifles as well. MD-42 switch around here. Note, thanks to the patches, actually got some slight penetration, so you can actually deal a bit better with the scout cars, but in a bit with a half-track though, not an awful lot. Country squad, the quick to flank here. Panzer should have been flanked. Oh, Panzer extra up. That's nice. Support armor core is up, and of course the Stu gets also see some changes. I'll be making a Propagandacast to sort of detail those further, but still, it's cheaper now, and also much more effective against infantry. Slightly less good against armor, but overall still reasonably effective if you know how to use it. Anyways, he could probably get that one round point. Punish his opponent. In fact, he should do that. Also noting, 2 MD-42s now lying around, he should make an effort to gain those back.
Standing by. We have seized it.
Come on, NoiseofCarpet, get the Sturmgeschütz out. Ah.
We are losing a sector.
Grabbing the MD-42 collision to fall back.
The sector has been cut off.
There we go, Stu being summoned here for the 25 Panzer Division, and there we go, half-track taking a nasty hit. And looks like the Luftwaffe has been called in for the first time in this match. Quick strafing run here, pinning down most of the troops. Opening up for the Panzers to push and maybe knock out the half-track. Vorwärts, Leute. Pioneers perhaps putting a bit ahead, and there go again. Another Soviet wave. Stug halfway there. Dude's going to push forwards. Pull back your MG42 here, NoiseofCarpet. Again, he's rather overextending things all the time. And again, it's a pretty risky play, although you all see another MG42. This one still not recruited. Not even here by Iamzwerr. Interestingly enough, Duska here, on the other hand, needs to consider getting away before the house collapses in on it.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Down to one man, who's probably not feeling too well at the moment, but there we go. Sturmgeschütz up, also noting Pinselmann machine guns have also received a buff, so they're also slightly more expensive, but also slightly more effective.
Push on. Panzer Grenadiers.
Overall, the Stug is now more accurate, has less scatter, so it's more effective against infantry, plus the AoE changes also makes its shots there a bit more effective against infantry, plus some other fun things. It has a little less armor, a little less health, and a little less penetration, plus there's some changes to penetration over range, so I mean still reasonably effective since it also still has its high rate of fire, so more punishing versus infantry, less punishing against armor, though again, you can get more of them.
Ready for strafing missions.
So, I mean, and they still got target weak point. Interesting enough, he's not pushing up to sort of try and... Then again, he might be trying to sort of ensure it doesn't get caught on the open either way. Pushing up here, and there we go, MG42 up, and there we go, one shot, two men down. Another hit, two more down, really. I mean, the Stug now has become a lot more effective. And a lot more worth it.
Enemies firing on us!
Another kill. Normally you wouldn't see a Stug get that many kills in that short of time. It would certainly be a rare event. Aber vorwärts mit die Sturmgeschütz. Hauptmann, NoiseofCarpet. And all of a sudden he's actually capable of punishing Iamzwerr's infantry play. But at the same time, now that 9 command points, there's a chance that Iamzwerr might be able to bring in his own assets. The Sherman. The M4 Sherman, there you go, conscripts riding ahead. MG fires away. And there you go, actually getting a kill with a Pinselmann machine gun. Good lord.
The Russians are attacking! They're ready!
And there we go, one of the new units added, the M4C Sherman. 76mm gun. Also has access to a 50 caliber. Really highly effective against armor actually, since that was what the sort of the upgrade was meant for. Dealing with armor. Also note there's been some changes to sort of acceleration and speed and such. So right here, I mean this Sherman can just zoom away on the roads. He's got Panzer, he's got the Stug, so he's got a chance of knocking out this Sherman, which is just speeding ahead. And finding a way there with the high velocity 76mm gun. And we see here the reaction forces are arriving. Pack 40 also moving in.
Yeah, we're ready for anything. Objective capture.
Just pushing ahead there. The glory of the Soviet Union. Half track rolling up. Now with the conscript squad in it. Interesting enough, not the guards troops. And there we go. Nice hit on the rear. Panzers need to move up. Good hit there. But at the same time, Veterans 1 Sherman already down. And Stug with its high rate of fire here has the advantage. And even managed to kill the crew. A small victory here for NoiseofCarpet and Germany, securing themselves a Sherman, if possible. Though the enemy might be able to knock it out. On the other hand, he could have kept the Stug there to cover us either way. Veterans you won already. And Sherman secure. Needs to get away though. But at the same time, thanks to having no engine damage, it can pretty much zoom away. And MG42 coming in and seeing NoiseofCarpet has made a bit more of a recovery now, thanks to the might of the Sturmgeschütz. Looks like the ultimate recovered that one MG42 there. That's good, about time. It's got half tech, the man to get things back, but there we go, Pack 40 cowering, good job. And another strafing run inbound as well. from the Kanonenvogel, but fails to hit. Scheiße. Back to Iamzwerr. Time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is, after having suffered a rather grueling start here for NoiseofCarpet, he's sort of finally getting back, and he's managed a bit of a small coup in having secured himself an enemy Sherman as well, besides his own Sturmgeschütz. So now he's got one Sherman that can sort of help him more helpfully deal with the armor, plus the Stuke, which can provide a nice blistering fire towards enemy infantry. Overall, having a nice armored core there compared to his opponent, on the other hand, still has a massive infantry force. That's going to be a bit of an issue, in particular then, since he might still be able to call in another Sherman soon. He just needs a bit more manpower, so it's about half a minute, another Sherman out. That's not to say all is lost here, since he's also got resources for, say, a Panzer IV or another Stuke already. Ooh, looks like this Ostwind also got a bit cheaper. Huzzah, about damn time too, I would say. But a Stuke here could prove helpful as well, provide further high rate of fire, and of course provide more support fire against enemy armor, and of course blasting infantry to tiny chunks. But currently he should consider getting some more infantry, and he should consider sort of more trying to establish, I think, a slightly more stable front line, or at least some kind of core where he can at least hold ground and sort of try to grind up his opponent when he attacks. I think that might prove a bit beneficial here. Also, considering the commander he's calling, he might want to consider getting up a munitions cache eventually to sort of help with that, so he doesn't have to drain fuel away from munitions, and thus still keep a nice rate of aircraft coming in there from the Luftwaffe in support of his 23rd Panzer Division troops. Iamzwerr, on the other hand, needs to consider perhaps getting a bit more. Looks like he also finally got around to nicking one of his opponent's MGs. Interesting enough, I mean, he's gone for the Special Rifle Command, but he's not used anything of it. I mean, a sniper, some Strafniki, or even a scout car could provide him with a few vital or helpful assets. And again, he could also sort of consider setting up a mechanized armor company, getting some assault guns of his own, or an Su-85 to provide him with some additional support as well, or just some armor. Fuel caches could also be an idea, considering what kind of thing he's playing at. Though of course you could just have some allied supply drops providing more fuel, but again it's not necessarily a very effective, because well, it's pretty much a safe one. Unlike say Luftwaffe supply drops, this one actually just pops it straight at your headquarters, so there's pretty much no risk, no chance of it falling into your opponent's hands unless your opponent is extremely ballsy and drives straight into your base to get it. So overall, a bit less efficient conversion rate there, to sort of put it mildly. But overall, I mean, he should consider mining things up a bit as well, and maybe, get some other things rather than just conscripts. A field gun or two might also prove advantageous to get a support weapon Campanella. Anyways, back to the fight here.
Enemy is engaging us.
Half track here, close. That was damn close there, damn close. Mortar, by the way, between 2 moving up, could set up here. Again, NoiseofCarpet does seem to move a bit recklessly with support units. It's a bit of a bad habit he seems to have. Stuke here getting repaired. Looks like a minefield was not quite fully sorted out. Guards infantry here, shouting into the machine gun crews. And looks like the half-track finally went down. Another Sherman here arrives for the Soviet Union. Also, he hasn't upgraded any of them, or he's tried to upgrade them with a 50 caliber machine gun, which actually also will tear into the infantry quite nicely. Grenadiers here fighting heroically, our bits around it. Pascal's done moving out again, he still could do with some more infantry. Stuke effects were right. None of these need to fall back, being suppressed by an enemy force from nearby ruined storehouse. Scheiße, NoiseofCarpet. Guardsmen got those. Stuke moving up. Sherman repaired. Oh dear, what are you doing, NoiseofCarpet? It's not a tank, it's an assault gun. Scheiße, Heinz. Das ist verrückt. That was definitely a bad move right here, and somehow not suffering any damage. But Stuke needs to fall back here. That was definitely not the wisest decision of the day there from NoiseofCarpet. And the Sherman quickly puts that assault gun out of commission. That could have gone a lot better, I would argue. Not entirely sure why he did that. That made no sense. My best guess, it was a misclick or something, and he didn't pay attention to what's going on until it's too late. Out of the way though, definitely not the wisest of moves. And essentially a free kill there, giving the Sherman here close to, well, veterans he won already. But a Panzer Force now pretend here, apparently no more assault guns can be spared. 50 cal would still be a nice idea, but firing away there against the conscripts, arrayed nice in a line. Panzer Kampfpanzer also moving in, so already NoiseofCarpet now retains a bit of an armor advantage in terms of numbers. Looks like he might try and rush the Sherman here. Mortar still firing, closing in a bit too quickly. And there we go, already a second Sherman available here. Guards tank corps rapidly finding itself heavily equipped with some fancy Sherman tanks. Pushing ahead there, MG needs to be careful. And Sherman here might sort of move up support as well.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Mortar here, veterans free. It looks like he's spearheading with the Sherman. Taking quite a few hits there. And already heavy damage there to the Sherman. That could have gone better. And there we go. Veterans run for this Sherman. Before rapidly pulling back. That's going to need some rather swift repairs. But the Pioneers are spread out all over the place at the moment. Moving out once more. Though at the same time, I mean, with all the conscripts he has, he could easily repair them rapidly. And there we go. Allied supply drop coming in.
Your predecessor died a hero.
Might at least get those other Pioneers over to help just a bit. MG there being hammered. Need to get those Shermans back on their tracks so they can begin fighting the enemy once more. Still retains a large part of his force in terms of infantry. And NoiseofCarpet still keeps at rather overextending his force. Looks like he lost another MD-42 there, by the way, to his opponent. There you go, both Pioneer squads working away at the Sherman. Still no upgrade for that one, or at least the Panzer IV got a Pinto MG as well. And you get at least one of them there with machine gun as well. 50 caliber on top. It looks like Iamzwerr about to lose another MG there to the dastardly German mortar. With 27 kills, quite impressive. Another fuel cache up there for NoiseofCarpet. Both Shermans now combat ready, still consider getting a 50 caliber for the other one as well. MD-42 stopping the conscripts from advancing too far there. Even Uraring will not suffice against the might of the MD-42.
We are being chewed up.
One squad pinned down, the other one though man to pass around. MD-42 now suppressing the MD-42 needs to fall back, and looks like the Luftwaffe is on the move. Now going in there. And there goes Germans pushing through. No telemann to cover that flank. Rapid fall back there for the mortar crew. Looks like they've been managed to escape. With another conscript force charging into the centre here, catching several of NoiseofCarpet's troops on Cardin again. He needs to be a bit more judicious in his support weapon usage. It's rather seemed to be a bit of a flaw for him. At least this match. Sherman and Panda more bombarding here the Bolsheviks. Full retreat right there. The Shermans can get a bit ahead as well. Mortar round fails to do anything to the Shermans. Now the Sherman already available here for Iamzwerr. Still flowing quite a bit of munitions. He could do a bit with it. Still can't lay down mines, so that could have been for him. A third Sherman out here. By the way, the Panda 4 actually got an armor buff.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
That's something to keep in mind there. Sherman's charging in. Panzer gun is 9 to support. Pioneers should grab the Panzer, and there we go. Hedgehog on the Panzer 4. Veterans 1 there. Pack 40, but also considering up their support. Third Sherman linking up with the rest. A sizable Lend-Lease force here. And there we go. Oh! Moving the Panzer 4 straight in front of Veterans 1 for the German Sherman, which rhymes. And he is wiped out. The Panzer straight dropped again. Blitzkrieg up here for the Panzer 4. Pack 40 still not able to support the tanks here against the armour there. Bit slouchy. And there you go. Veterans 1. Veterans 1, the other Sherman. Pack 40 finding away there. Panzer 4 could go down. There we go. Kaput. Main gun down as well. Sherman though was down. He lost the Veterans in 2 Sherman. Veterans in 3 for the Pack 40. Heavy armoured losses right here already. Sherman going in there on the hunt. NoiseofCarpet here when pulled up another fresh Panzerkampfwagen 4 and an MD-42 rapidly proceeding to stop the assault there. Though we do see a strafing run maybe going in there or something else. And the heavily depleted MG crew actually goes down there to a swift strafe from the Luftwaffe. NoiseofCarpet striking back harder and harder. Iamzwerr strategy now beginning to show some rather severe kinks in its execution, and overall a bit in depth as NoiseofCarpet, having held out the initial Red Storm, or Red Tide if you will, has now managed to sort of, you know, quickly build back and fight back stronger with this combined arms force. Plus better usage of Panzers to a certain extent, I would say. More supply drops here. Instant again, he could have gone for some fuel cans as well, but never quite seemed to consider that and as an option.
What do you need?
Also enough, there's no sign of an upgrade here on the Sherman with a 50 cab, which could also provide a bit of an aid there against infantry. And this one's going, both of them actually pretty close to XC2, which will give them increased rate of fire and faster turret rotation. Fuel cache here coming under fire. I mean, NoiseofCarpet on the hand has been quite judicious in his use of fuel caches, and also rather strategically targeting this one all the way, so it's going to take a bit of effort to cut him off from the rest of his fuel as well. And unfortunately, turning up that Molotov off. Panzer 4 rapidly shifting. Pioneers need to get work on the other Sherman, on the other Panzer. Conscript rushing ahead. And unfortunately, then in trouble. Slight damage there. And there we go, MG crew wiped out.
Now this land belongs to the Soviet people.
Waiting orders.
Panzer 4 rolling up, conscripts rushed away. Sherman combat ready as well, the other Sherman as well. And popping all back here to NoiseofCarpet. But really lacking in infantry, that is really something that NoiseofCarpet should look into here. 50 caliber still an option.
Watch for counterattacks.
Charging it straight ahead. I mean, if you're going to do that, get a machine gun for it. Second Sherman here arriving. The surge continuing pushing up. We're seeing more armour here on the way still. I think NoiseofCarpet should consider some infantry. Anti-tank dust, nice drop penetrating there. Conscripts almost got out though. 11 kills on this Sherman. Oh dear, Sherman moving up here. Again, NoiseofCarpet, be careful. Veteran 2 for this one, so both now have a high rate of fire. This one though is much more damaged. Panzer 4 needs to move up to support. And there we go, strafing run, and there we go, combined Panzer 4 and Luftwaffe strike. Knock out the enemy Sherman as another one rolls out here. Guards infantry here tearing into the Pioneers before going down themselves in a blaze of bloody glory.
are securing our
Enemy crew
territory.
they're left behind. Conscripts hiding in a very, very small shack, hoping the enemy might not pay attention, I suppose.
Yes.
Second Panzer IV arriving.
Ready.
Pioneer squad.
Both sides drawing heavily upon their armour
The enemy is taking our territory.
for this fight. And lots of MG42s left around, which is a bit of a rare sight since people tend to be usually a bit regular catching and picking them up. Looks like the multiple finding meters in there to the 50 caliber armed Sherman. And there we go, explosion of the rear to the Panzer IV. Panzer IV though manages to miss that close. Second Panzer IV comes up, gets a hit. And out, Panzer IV misses again. Helmut, where are you aiming? And there you go, Sherman down, Panzer IV veterans in 2. Shuts another up.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Dastardly serious engagement here. Building here close to collapsing. Conscripts need to get out of there. And most did not make it. Looks like he's rushing in for an anti-tank assault. Resulting in a complete wipe there. Looks like Iamzwerr's getting utterly desperate here. His rather, to a certain extent, shallow and brutal strategy has failed.
Panzer IV.
Ja.
More Panzers, more infantry finally on the bloody well way. Panzer VI secured there.
Ready.
Salvage from the ruins.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Quick anti-tank grenade follow up with a Panzer VI. Second Panzer moving up, Conscripts continues to end up in a lot of trouble. Molotovs off.
Enemy armor.
And there we go, rapidly retreating as things get a bit too hostile.
We've been spotted.
The enemy has broken our supply lines.
Ja.
MG42 here left to hold. Conscripts moving up.
Infantry here.
Assault.
We're ready.
You need something?
Panzer IV being repaired.
The new unit has
And
arrived.
soon NoiseofCarpet's now rather superior armour forces his opponent has nothing left, now getting support from company and problems from field guns. And one can't help but feel that's a bit too late. Getting some more supply drops in.
Send them straight to hell.
They're coming from behind.
Well, that was quite the hit. Saying that supplies plane crashing right down.
It's too late for a medic.
MG once more will come there.
Seizing a sector.
Panzer support is immediately needed. Infantry rolling up the left flank. Panzer's being pushed in there. And there we go. Close up. Making short work there of the conscripts.
Pioneers awaiting orders. Enemy has spotted us.
Iamzwerr's troops not really having the sufficient constitution to withstand bullets and high explosives.
Shooting at us.
It's enough he sent the upgraded panzer gunners forwards rather than the ones, you know, fully assault rifles. Slight note there.
Territory claim.
The veterans of the infantry versus veterans of the infantry. There you go. Panzer IV arrives, quickly turning things around with the Luftwaffe being summoned in as well. Which proves enough to convince the conscripts to get out of there. Oh dear, they got pinned on the retreat.
Germany now holds the victory.
All the victory points there falling into the hands. More S-mines going down there for NoiseofCarpet. Looks like he'll be able to call in another Sherman soon, but even then, a few cash would have helped him. Just saying. And a lone field gun being moved forwards.
Germany now holds the victory point. We have new resources available. Panzer IV.
AT gun here.
You need something? Panzer IV, ready. Panzer here.
Field gun slowly setting up, point is secure as well.
German territory. Panzer IV. We have forced the enemy down to 200 points.
Iamzwerr's last infantry reserves being marshalled forwards.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Gunslinger doing what they can there from inside a small building. Quick Molotov there.
Sector is ours.
Stuka bombing strike also available. Noting another few guys there. Clearly he's expecting for this to go on further and longer. Sherman soon available here for Iamzwerr. What's going on there? Go field barrage. Quick S-mount going off there. Not sure what's keeping the Panzers out there in some small cratering. And Panzer IV could actually be sort of flanking about and around here, but again, the conscripts in the heights here might in fact serve as a bit of an obstacle. Another strafing run, and there we go. An additional M4 arrives. And the pack here making short work of the occupants inside the house.
Standing by.
Panzer IV, ready.
Conscript sneaking ahead. Oh, trying to barrage, but perhaps hadn't considered there's a building in the way. How unfortunate. How rather unfortunate. Instead, he's blowing chunks of the building off.
Ready for orders.
Yes.
Another Panther 4 on the way here.
That's everyone. Grenadiers ready.
Finally got the field gun moving ahead. Pack 40 pointing in a slightly wrong direction.
The adversary has slipped to 100 points.
Nope, Blitzkrieg has also been changed a bit. Just gives acceleration. So slight chances will be harder to hit now. Also a bit cheaper. Panther is flanking in. He could have blitzed in there, I think, and gotten that Sherman though. At the same time, continuing up there, being stopped by an enemy before too late down here by some pioneers.
Anti-personnel mines planted.
Enemy is down to 75 points.
Iamzwerr's lack of sort of unit depth has rather begin to hurt him. And there we go. Game over. A loss here to the Soviet Union, a victory to Germany. You also get to see some of those new fancy Shermans there with the 76mm guns. Able to put up a reasonable threat there to enemy armour. And even lightly against enemy infantry, though not quite in the same way as the T-34. Anyways, there, some nice action there. We saw also the new Stug, which also certainly made a bit of an impact, though sadly, again, not entirely sure, but NoiseofCarpet here decided to utilize like a tank, which surprisingly enough, it failed as. We also saw, basically a massive Soviet infantry force going in. Initially, I mean, it was really dominating, partly because, again, NoiseofCarpet kept rushing all across the place, using units here and there, but once he got some armor out, it actually began showing rather some serious cracks, because, again, it was a very singular force, very composed towards one purpose, and once it began meeting a partly more combined arms force, it really began struggling and really began hurting, and also began losing a lot of its effectiveness. In particular, once more armor began arriving, it began getting less and less effective until it basically just got shattered away. So there's something there to keep in mind. In this case, it came down to NoiseofCarpet basically weathering the storm until he can get something to put a boot into his opponent's kneecaps, or whatever you'd like to consider that as well. He could have been a bit more judicious. He also made some mistakes, and he kept constantly running around in support weapons like the infantry. In several cases, they were forced to then immediately run off rather than having them support as infantry, in which case they might have had a better effect as well. So there's a few issues there. To be honest, the opponent again could easily have done with a slightly more composed force, which could have been able to resist the enemy's arm and other things a bit better. Instead, it rather gave NoiseofCarpet the exact chance to sort of really get back into the fight and punish his opponent. Some okay armor tactics, but at the same time, Iamzwerr was a bit too reckless. At the same time, certain times, rather ended up losing a lot of armor. In some cases, probably could have preserved some, and in particular, preserved some veteran armor. So that's a bit unfortunate as well. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you had some fun. And hope you learned something. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers. And of course, if you liked it, feel free to subscribe. Send in a replay of your own. Provide some feedback in the comments, share it, tell everyone. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.